Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Give you kind of a quick overview on the legislative as we go through the process this year. On the ATV registration, November 20th from the South Carolina Attorney General's office, in the opinion that if the ATV is being used for fire rescue and equipped properly, that you don't have to register that vehicle. So that is a good thing coming from the update. Proviso updates, working with our partner as well as SLED for PTS funding. You remember the $250,000. That money will be used for fire and EMS providers to provide insurance policy as well as training, and we staffing our coordinators for the FAST team. So that's at $250,000 on the proviso. We're supporting an increase in the proviso 93.18. This is in the first responder inoperability. In the 2018-19 amount of $1.2 million, we're going to a $9 million in the 19-20 budget. This is a $7.8 million increase to assist with funding with wide interoperability, and we'll return the matching funds back to $1 for every $3 spent for the interoperability by state and local responders. We're strongly supporting the state fire's $1 million proviso for emergency response task force to purchase, replace, and update equipment for our state ERT team. Chief Jones and Chief Kerber and staff have put together a well thought out plan and budget for providing for our ERT to respond in future disasters. Some of the pre-filed bills from Senate and House. Our state senators and representatives returned to session on Tuesday the 8th of 2019, January 2019. We have begun looking at bills to file that pertain to the fire service. Won't get into depth, but some of them I will highlight. We're watching H 3322 is a bill that removes minimum sentencing requirement for violation of fire code regulations. We're watching S 24 is looking to change its definition of cigarettes. S 239 is a bill we'll need to oppose as we undo the work from last year, stating that the schools should conduct at least one fire drill and change it to only one fire drill per semester. This will cause law to trump the code. S 234 is a bill that will require SLED to conduct criminal history background checks, law enforcement teachers without charge. We will need to add fire department and first responders as well to that bill. So some of the highlights of what we're looking at as we're kicking off, and certainly if you got any questions or concerns legislatively, please see me. I'll be here the whole weekend as we continue as the committees to get together with Cindy and Chief Stewart to help us and guide us through the process. So, Mr. President, that's our report.
Next is Health and Safety, Chief Williams.
Good morning. I hope all of you are well. Just to kind of update you on the Health and Safety Committee. We met October 16th and discussed some upcoming objectives and goals that we wanted to accomplish for the 2019, at that time, upcoming year. We've looked at breaking the Health and Safety Committee into 3 different branches. We're going to look at a cancer awareness branch, a fitness awareness branch, and a safety awareness branch. Some of our key point goals are to bring more marketing on the awareness branches, continuing the This Is My Fight campaign, looking at more of a generic type SOGs like we did with the cancer. Our next quarterly meeting is going to be January 15th, Association office, so it's coming up next week. Also, we were contacted by FireSafe just a few weeks ago and about some firefighter injuries. So there's some issues that have came up with the numbers that DHEC is reporting on firefighter injuries and what our NIPers are reporting. So we're looking at our first meeting February 1st to discuss this. I'm sure we'll bring some more information to you in the upcoming meetings and be getting that information out. Also, while I was on the phone with Mr. Fulbright about that meeting, he wanted me to mention the summit that was coming up at Fire Academy February 7th. If you have any questions, get with him, give him a call, They're looking at many vendors, NFPA's coming in, I do know that. Several church denominations are going to be there also. I think that's pretty much it, and Mr. President, appreciate your time.
Finance and Audit, Chief Solomon.
Good morning. The Finance Audit Committee, we are actually undergoing the annual audit, which will be this month. So it should take place toward the last week of the month. Upon the conclusion of that audit, we will be meeting probably about the middle of February, possibly the end of February, to review the results. One of the things I do want to tell you guys is that we're making a concerted effort across the board to make sure we're being as fiscally responsible as possible. Executive Director Minnick has really dug in deep on that. And Brian Bailey, our accountant, both have been working together to make sure that we're being as fiscally responsible as possible, make sure that you get the best bang for your buck. So that's one of the good things, and we actually expect to receive good results and good review of our audit and our finances. And that'll be for the association, that'll be for insurance, and that'll be for the foundation as well. Having questions, feel free to reach out to me, and we make sure we keep overbooked for you guys so that we have as much transparency as possible. So, Mr. President, that's my report.
Supervisory, Chief Ballard.
President, supervisory, a lot of things going on. We're the 1% folks. We just had a blitz this past Wednesday. A blitz, what we call a blitz, is the supervisory committee gets together in Columbia, and we sit down and we go over submissions up to that point. This past Wednesday, we handled about 40 submissions. The purpose is to try to streamline the process. Everybody wants their approval forms back as quickly as possible, and that's been our goal. And when it's done by email, it just slows the process down. To give you an example, if we have a question or the form is not clear in what you're trying to do, and we may have some hesitation, if it's sent out through email, I'll email Jeff back or Jana and have a question about that, and maybe one of the other members may too. They'll have to stop and make a phone call probably the next day, trying to run down the chief or whoever's responsible for the 1%, and then get an answer for that and then send it back out. And then whenever I check my email again, so you can understand the process, gets cumbersome that way. When we have a blitz, we sit down in a room and we go through the forms. Most of them are pretty simple, and most of them have enough information for us to go ahead and approve. But if we do have a question, we try to get on the phone right then, and we get it cleared up right there. That's for your benefit, and it helps us too. And what we think is this blitz that we had on Wednesday will be our last blitz, because as you know, the forms are going online, and I think it'll streamline the process considerably. As with any change, there's a learning curve. So we'll ask that you bear with us. I've already submitted mine. As you know, I serve on supervisory, but I'm a fire chief too, so I have to do these forms too. And I'm keenly aware of how difficult some of those things can be. But we sat down with ours and probably had ours completely filled out and submitted within an hour. So there is a learning curve and things you'll have to learn. But I think in the long run it'll be better for you and it'll be better for the committee, and we can turn those things around in more of a timely fashion. Quick plug before I turn the podium over to Jeff, who is the staff person in charge of supervisor at 1%. We've got our class will be across the hallway at 1:30, so for those of you that are signed up, please come over and we'll talk about more in-depth intake questions about supervisory stuff, 1% stuff. Jeff?
It's hard to follow Chief Bowers, but thank y'all for your attendance today and this weekend for the improvement conference. We appreciate that. There's a lot of sacrifice you take out of your family, family time to be here with us. But like Chief Bowers was talking about, I think with the new database, we're really excited about that. We've got a lot of good feedback with it already. Submission process is streamlined as far as everything's automated now. Your approvals and that type of thing. So please remember, like Chief Bowers said, that all requests, all forms have to be submitted online now, because we are still getting some emails with attachments with your budgets, and we have to respond to the fire department telling them that they need to report that through our member management system, not the fire portal. A lot of people get that confused. We hear that terminology used, fire portal. Ours is the member management system. So I do want to commend the your supervisory committee. They do an exceptional job. You know, Chief John Bowers, he's the chairperson. Jason Dennis, he's in Clarendon County, and then Chief Bill Dale, he's out in North Spartanburg. So I appreciate them. I know I emailed them and called them a lot of odd hours of the day and night, but like Chief Bowers did mention that we want to turn your expenditure process and your approvals around in a very timely manner. So also, like you mentioned in class this afternoon, we'll be looking forward to presenting that information to you as well. So thank y'all for your attendance again. Oh, yeah, okay. As you know, we're doing this class today. We also felt the need for our fire service to share this with different regions across the state. We kind of unveiled this at last year's Fire Rescue Conference. We did 2-day meetings on Friday and Saturday at the conference. We had very good participation there. With the Legislative Audit Council doing an audit on the statewide 1%, we felt like it was a need. We want to get the message out from the standpoint of the association and from our CPA firm that does the audits for us every year. So what we're doing now, we've already started with these classes. We have one in Spartanburg in November, one today. We're going to have one upcoming in Goose Creek Rural Fire Department February 16th. We'll have one in Clarendon County, I believe that's March 21st. And then we'll have one in Lancaster. Chief Justin, my chief, he graciously agreed to host one there in Lancaster County on May 7th. We will be adding more after the conference. I've already got some requests to host more. So if your fire department, your region is interested in one of these classes, please let us know. The registration link is online. You do have to register for the classes. Big kudos to Rick Dunn. He's put that on our website. Go to our 1% page and all the information is there. Time, date, and the venue. But again, thank y'all for your attendance and your cooperation with all this new changes. So, thank you.
The last thing I'll say is the reason for the training is to be proactive. Instead of us turning down your request because we need more information or you've asked for an expenditure that's not allowed through statute or through our rules, we're trying to go out and teach it ahead of time. That'll hopefully streamline the process and get us better quality forms turned in and get your requests and your questions answered timely, and that way it serves you and serves your folks better. Because I know that as a fire chief, or if you're on the supervisor or local 1% committee, your guys are hounding you. When can we buy this furniture? When can we do this? And if it's bogged down with us because we don't understand it, or maybe you've submitted it in the wrong way, or submitted or asked for something that's not proper, by coming to the training classes, you can get a clarity on those things, and it helps you and it helps us. Any questions? Mr. President, that's our report.
EMS, Chief Capella.
First of all, your EMS committee, this year we kind of self-tasked ourselves with topics that are going on nationwide. And one of the things that I know everybody in this room is affected by, at some level, you probably do EMS within your department. We're researching, reaching out to other associations, brainstorming, compiling, trying to get all the information together on what we're going to do to kind of combat this shortage of EMS folks that are, or EMS trained folks within our departments that are wanting to both stay and continue their career with us. Whether you're volunteer, career, EMR, EMT, paramedic, we see those numbers dropping, and it's due to so many outside sources that, trust me, we can't solve in this room today, whether it be training costs, the amount of time that's now required to put in the training. All of those things are kind of starting to really put a pinch on our system. So the committee, there's several of the folks in the room today, that's one of the big things that we're looking at. And if we could at least get the conversation started to lay that groundwork of where we're going to go in the future, how can we help recruit these people and keep these people, then that's one of our big tasks. The second thing, you'll see, if any of you attend this afternoon, we're doing a Stop the Bleed course. This is a nationwide movement that started really almost 2 years ago on the federal level. And we're just curious to see how much our state knows of this movement. Totally free, other than some of the training equipment, but there's options that are out there and things that can help you. Active shootings, everyday traumas, all those things we know aren't going to go away. And if we can teach at the scout level how to control bleeding so many years ago, why are we not teaching everybody within our communities? Why are we not touching every organization, every church, every department? And a lot of that's going to start with our fire department. And reaching out with the fire academy, following up with them, there's some things that we're going to do as we move forward across the state. There may be some of those folks that has a small department that maybe doesn't have that EMT or higher on their department. So we're going to reach out and help them. But we need to get this movement kind of spread out all across the state. We know it's a national thing, so let's bring it right to South Carolina. Mr. President, that's our report.
Training and Education, Chief Norton.
Good morning, everyone. Thank y'all for attending this weekend. Real quick, I just want to touch on Fire Rescue 2019 and the educational path between our staff personnel and the committee. We've got a good program lined up. It's changing by the week between speakers and what we're offering. For 2019, we are going to go back to the specialty schools. We will have 3 of them: truck company ops, engine ops, and flood boat will return for 2019. In addition to that, we're going to go a little bit different and we're adding a hot class. It's going to be the farm medic class, and some of you have already had it in your locations. We're going to do it at the 2019. We're going to open it up. Right now, it's going to be in Lexington from what we anticipate. Look forward to this class. Really get good reviews, so look forward to that. In the next few months, you'll see that 2019, the list of speakers is going to increase. Please go and check firerescuesc.org on a weekly basis to look at those changes, and we're looking for a good show. Fire Rescue 2019 is June 24th through the 29th, so we're a little bit later in the month. So please look forward to that. As far as the training education from the Fire Academy standpoint, Chief Ray and Chief Jones are going to talk later on. They're doing some great things up there. The remodeling and revitalization of the props is starting to kick off now, and we're really looking forward to that. Thank y'all.
Next advisory, Chief Holzhauer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning still to everybody. I just wanted to remind everybody we have some talented folks in the state of South Carolina and throughout the fire service, and we need to recognize them. The deadline to nominate somebody for an award is January the 31st, and so get them in. You can go to scfirefighters.org and follow the link there to fill out those nominations online. As we move forward, the South Carolina State Firefighters Association Leadership Institute is a year-long program that focuses on the leadership development and educational processes in an executive level environment, emphasizing communications, group-based project skills, and individual presentation skills. Over the past 12 months, 12 individuals from 11 organizations have come together to forge an everlasting bond that only a few have the chance to experience from a program of this significance. These future state leaders have worked hard on an assortment of topics ranging from volunteer fire service in rural South Carolina to career municipal fire service in metro cities, the legal issues facing our fire service leaders, to our legislative process, to executive leadership lessons from a corporate perspective. We have seen tremendous growth in this year's class, and we are excited to present to you today our 8th graduating class. As I call your name and department, please come forward to receive your framed certificate and LI pin from President Atkinson. Have a picture taken and then stand to the side to allow for a group photo. Our first, Chad Bean, Fountain Ridge Fire Department.
That's my boy.
Look at me. Chastity Bigney, Dorchester County Fire Rescue. Crippen, Midway Fire Rescue. Klein Gore, Gaffney Fire Department. Kevin Crosby, Greenville City Fire Department. Lee Hendricks, Conway Fire Department. James Kemple, Dorchester County Fire Rescue. Brent Lewis, North Spartanburg Fire Department. Colby Means, Greer Fire Department. Russell Rafferty, Glassy Mountain Fire Department. Gene Shealy, Newberry Fire Department. Jessica Weinberg, Clarendon County Fire Rescue. Please join me in a round of applause for the 2018 Leadership Institute.
Excuse me. Good morning, good afternoon. I'm not sure what time it is. We just wanted to take a quick minute to recognize two people that were extremely influential in our time in Leadership Institute. And they were really, truly with us from the start to the end, every trip, everything. They kept us in line, took care of us, and just poured into us, and we learned so much. So if we could please have Ashley Bolton and Carter Jones come up here, please. So two things that we're presenting them with. We as a group got challenge coins made that have our initials on it with the LI logo. And so we want to present one of those each to Ashley and Carter. And then something else, we had axes made. I'll let Kevin show those off that we would like to present to them as well. And they're completely individualized and with our names on the back of it. So we just wanted to honor them and give them a big round of applause.
Steve.
No.
Gave you the axe.
Your advisory committee is charged each year with the selection of the awards at conference and the selection of the incoming Leadership Institute class. This year, I had the honor of chairing the selection process, and after doing our due diligence in reviewing applications and letters of recommendations, rating written submissions, and conducting interviews, we were able to present to our executive committee the following 12 members for our 2019 Leadership Institute program. As I call your name, please come up front. Keith Drabick, Horry County Fire Rescue. Jamie Helms, Columbia Richland Fire Rescue. Henry Hickman, Myrtle Beach Fire Rescue. Samuel Negron, Ladies Island, St. Helena Fire District. Christian Rainey, North Charleston Fire Department. Nicholas Ray, North Spartanburg Fire District. Joshua Sapp, Georgetown County Fire Department. Damon Spann, Aiken Public Safety. Matt Thomas, Rock Hill Fire Department. Brent Turner, Dorchester County Fire Rescue. Robert Van Pelt, Taylor's Fire Department. And Chris Weaver, Gaffney Fire Department. I present to you your 2019 Leadership Institute class. Thank you.
That's a great program and continues to grow, and it's exciting to see all the students that come in every year, especially being part of it. It's well worth the one-year journey. It's just not long enough. We'll continue on with recruitment retention. Mr. Brian Reevy.
Good morning. Thank you all for attending this weekend to beautiful upstate. It's taken us a little bit of time to select a good marketing vendor for our efforts, but we're happy to do so after a lot of personal interviews, a lot of requests that went out. The first arriving company was chosen. The first arriving company is really made up of folks just like ourselves. Career firefighters, volunteer firefighters, and those that have worked on the marketing side of the house. They know all about computers, they know all about search engine optimization, and I hope that you have paid attention to the update on our scvolunteerfirefighter.org page. Last year they put out a number of requests for department profiles. They've updated that interest form. We have selected local recruiters in all of the counties, or at least in the department. Excuse me, I'm trying to get through this very quickly. They were in here last year, continued at our conference in June in Columbia, with meeting with folks who had expressed an interest in being part of that marketing. They captured a lot of video. That work has continued even as late as a few weeks ago, when very quickly made a phone call to Jason Pope here as that team was moving through. I thought I saw Chief Agee earlier. I know they were in the Richburg area. They visited quite a few areas in the state, captured a lot of video, and they continue to put those videos together. You will be seeing those coming out. They have updated all of our social media outreaches. If you go to the web now and you do anything, you're making a search on the web, you will probably at some point in time see an ad pop up for our association and our volunteer recruitment needs. They will and have agreed to host our website, SC Volunteer fire.org free through 2020. And currently, the projects that are waiting in queue involve a number of updated posters, new posters actually, that will be customizable. If you have a need, you want to get one of the posters, it will be put on our website. You will be able to go to it, put your own information in it, select pictures, put your own details in it, and use it in your locale. They have and will launch a true recruiter resource center, which will include those documents as either Word or PDF files. They interviewed some folks and have got some local recruiter showcase best practices, and that will be coming out as well. And they're going to ensure that we, as members, you in your local department, will have access to all of that video, all of that photography through Dropbox or hard drive. They're working on those details. Now, most of you know that that grant is set to end at the end of January. What has happened with our federal government? It's shut down. DHS is not answering anything right now, whether it's a request, whether it's a proposal, whether we're saying, Brian Bailey's on me all the time, I need money, I need money, I need money. With that in mind, I've asked the executive director and the staff are working on sending a letter to our federal delegation and saying, please, when you come back to work, you're there now, those people come back to work, please put some pressure on them to allow us an opportunity to extend that grant beyond the end of January so that we can meet the needs that we have in Dayton. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me, okay? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Start kind of fast, Patty.
Good morning, everybody. Y'all know I can stand up here as excited as I get about FAST and talk to you for hours about the things we've accomplished this year, the things we want to accomplish this coming year. I'm going to share some numbers with you. I think most of you know why I don't get up here and share department names with you, because confidentiality is the basis of our program. I can tell you that we have been to a lot of departments this year, either for training or for responses, whether it be a group or an individual. And we are so honored to serve you in any way, shape, or form we can. But some people love numbers, so for those of you, the insurance policy this year, 165 claims were submitted for people to get clinical care after calls. A total paid out in claims was $109,000. That's to the new number of people, that means something, but to people like me, that tells me that people are getting help. They're getting the help they need. That budget proviso that Chief Medic was talking about, that's what helps fund this. That's what helps make it so we can come to your departments and train, or come to your departments and respond, and invite you guys to train with us and become peers. Of course, we always want that. As for going to departments to talk to groups of responders, we talked to 1,400 firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, law enforcement, but 1,400 people in a group setting. Now on one-to-one, one-to-one, we have over 3,500 peer contacts. And I know that so many don't get reported because I'm as guilty of it as anybody else. When a peer talks to somebody, we ask them to fill out this form so we can keep track. Training, prevention is part of the proviso. So the preventing of the trauma, not the trauma, but the PTSD and the problems from behavioral health, we were able to reach only 537 people this year, which is great compared to other years, but I need you guys to help me get that number way up this year. Let us come to your departments and talk to you. We have trained as new peers about 150 in the last year. We do work with the Fire Academy, very thankful to work with them. We've got our team meeting February 6th at the USAR building, thank you. We'll be in their meeting. If you have any interest, any questions, anything, please feel free to join us. And I look forward to seeing you all and talking lots more this year. Thank you, sir.
The CFIS, Rena.
Thank you guys for being here. I've got some things to go over. First of all, the memorial service has been moved to June, and it's going to be on Saturday. We don't know about the time yet, but Ashley is working diligently on that, and hopefully we'll know soon. There'll be letters going out in April, maybe March. So if any of you have lost somebody this past year, start getting pictures together. That is one of the hardest things that we do, is Marcia trying to put that program together, is getting pictures from you all. So if you do or know departments that are near you that have had somebody pass away, you can start getting those together and sending those in. We greatly appreciate it. Any questions about memorial service or how you get on that from any of you in here? Okay, I think I've talked to most of you that I know have had somebody pass away, but please just be on the lookout for that letter to come in. Don't trash it, and just make sure, because we put in there the specifics of the person that passed away. If there were multiple people, we're going to line that out for you as well. So it's an important letter that's going to come out, so just look out for that. One of the things I never really get to do is, as you know, your executive committee volunteers their time and throughout the year and meet vigorously and work very hard, and we thank them. But we also have a board that is on the insurance side of the house, and they also volunteer their time. And I wanted to take a minute to just introduce them. We've got Scott Smith, he's our chairperson. Scott, want to do a hand wave? We've got Alvin Payne, Butch Womack, Tommy Norris, where's he at? Tommy over the other side, Joe Munn, and Rick Kramer. And so Rick sort of does a dual role. He sits on our board as a chair of benefits and also on the executive committee side. So he does double duty, so we appreciate that. I can't thank them enough for what they do. They are really the backbone of the insurance company and making sure that we have viable and great benefits to offer to you. It's a lot of time that goes into that, and if you can imagine, in the insurance world, you have every broker or salesperson knocking down your door. I know you do as chiefs of departments and officers of departments. As individuals, we have that. We know it's hard to filter through all of that because we have some great competitors in the state. We have great companies that can help fit the niche of fire departments. And so we do that as well. So this board takes the time to interview all of those companies to make sure that we're making the right decisions and to be able to give that guidance to you all. And so I just want you to know what they do and that they're here. And they're also here as a resource to you. We want you to utilize them. Call them if you need to. All of these guys don't mind. They'll answer any questions you have and would love to do that. We also have a friend of ours, Ron Brosgani, is in the back. Ron, if you want to raise your hand. He is with Provident Agency, and of course, you know, we've been working with them for decades, and have just been a big partner of ours, and of course, we couldn't do that without them as well. And that leads me to talk about something that we've had a lot of questions coming in about dues. So $9 of your association dues goes to the support of the association, so that's $9 of that $40. $31 goes to an insurance or a benefits package. And with that comes all those things that we come out and discuss. And of course, it's not something that's exciting to talk about. Most of the time we get glazed eyes over and, you know, probably don't hear half of what we talk about. But I want to bring to you today how often people utilize this benefit and how it has affected the state. If you think about $40 per person per year, over the past 4 years, that is about $1.3 million in premiums, okay? But on the other side of that, over $800,000 of that has been paid back into our members' pockets for any time lost, for injuries, and that's set aside from the policy Patty went over with you. That's a whole different means of payment. Has nothing to do with your dues. That comes from the proviso and legislation. This is above and beyond that. And that's not even that group life benefit that we honor those 100 people or more every year. So when you look at utilization, which is great, we want you to use it. It's there. It's being used. But that's how valuable that small benefit is for $31. So I thank you for spreading the word that it's out there. I can't tell you how many departments we go to, and still to this day, we may go to 2 or 3 times, but there's always somebody in there going, I got hurt last year and didn't even know you had this. And we want to be on it. We want to make the transition smooth. Marcia and Paul Cromer, they work really hard to make sure that you're not having to do a lot of work to get the funds that you need, that you're missing to make you whole. So truly reach out to them if you're having any problems. Always can call me, and we'll make sure that it's an ease of comfort for you to get that. With that said, we made some decisions this year. We are a full-service in-house insurance company, but we want to be able to offer definitely the best that's out there, and also just to give you another option for departments, not only the individual members, but departments as a whole. And we decided, the executive committee, the insurance board decided effective January the 1st that we were actually going to go into property and casualty in-house and start providing that. So we look forward to bringing another competitor into the state. That helps everyone. And so I look forward to working with you on those things, and hope you have lots of questions, and we can help provide some of that to you coming in the future. With that, Scott wants to say a few words, and I just want to thank all of you for what you do and for being here. This is a great turnout to start to our new year. I hope to be at your department soon, and y'all have a safe weekend.
Thank you. Real quick, we'll take just a second. We're excited on the insurance side of the house. We have great partners out there that we work with. We have great customers, which is you. We love to take our benefits and be able to turn those around for the benefit of the fire service in general, just across the entire state. As Zarina alluded to, we have our greatest partner we've got out there is Provident Insurance. I'm going to put in a plug for them. That's what she's alluding to on the P&C side. We've elected to start representing Provident Insurance to offer you property and casualty insurance across the state. Provident Insurance has been there for us when there was some questions to whether this association was going to float or sink across the year, but with the support and the money that they've given us over the years, so we're excited to continue that process. They've been with us for decades. I mean decades. That's one of the longest partnerships we've had, and they support the crucial part of this association. So insurance is an ever-changing, ever-evolving thing that we chase, and it's always changing every year. But give us the opportunity to serve it. Give us the opportunity to give Zarina, Marcia, and Paul.
That's the best way to see it.
Come to your department and talk to you about your insurance needs. Give us a chance. Provident is admittedly a little bit new on the P&C side in South Carolina. They're established in other parts of the country, but give us a shot. Reach out to us, give us an opportunity to give you a quote. We'd love to do business because it helps us all. It all comes back to us in a full circle. So that's why we're there. That's why we exist. That's another benefit for these associations. Thank you.
Next will be our Fire and Education Section Committee, Scott Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Mr. President. From the Fire and Life Safety section, I just want to reiterate February 7th, the SC Fire and CRR Summit. This is a free event. Registration's on the fire portal. Please, there's going to be some wonderful education opportunities at this, with great breakout sessions at this event. Also, March 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, actually, we're going to be opening registration on the 22nd from 4 to 6 p.m. and then we're going to have a free dinner. And then Saturday, starting at 8 a.m., we're going to start open registration back up for the 2019 Learning from the Past for a Safer Future. This is to replace our kickoff conference that was canceled due to Hurricane Florence. We have some wonderful speakers lined up, including Chief John Bowers and Chief Carter Jones going over the Cleveland School Fire and the Beulah Church Fire. And there's also going to be a field trip out to the location to go over some stuff there. some great educational opportunities coming up in the state. Please remember they're free, and don't want to miss out on the breakout sessions. Kickoff 2019, information will be coming out for it. Requests for speakers will be coming out for it. That's September 19th through the 21st. It's going to be at Santee State Park this year. One last thing, International Sprinkler Day has been transformed now. It's going to be International Sprinkler Week, and it will be the week of May 19th. We'll be recognizing that. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll have a update from our South Carolina Labor License Regulation Division, Fire and Life Safety. That's y'all.
I know we're pressed for time, so I'll be brief, and I've been challenged to be shorter than Dennis Ray. Got your stopwatch? Get good. First and foremost, I want to talk about fire fatalities. 2018, we ended the year with 93 fire fatalities in South Carolina. Number one cause was heating, followed by cooking and smoking. So those were our top three. Heating was 2 times more than any of the other causes. So we still got a lot of work to do. We were already at 5 fatalities in 2019. When you do the math, that's about 1 every other day. 86% of those fatalities occurred in homes. Preventable causes and places where people should feel the safest. We know that the majority of those did not have working smoke alarms. So we still have a lot of work to do, and you've heard some of the CR efforts already mentioned. I want to talk about VSAFE. We're helping fire departments close out their grants from the previous year. You know, we awarded about $850,000 to, I think, about 24 or 25 departments last year. We had $5.3 million in requests. So that shows that there's a tremendous need. The good thing is VSAFE is funded through 2030. We hope to launch the next round of applications within the next couple months. The governor appointed Chief Tony Dix to replace Trey Atkinson as the at-large member on the VSAFE panel. And we are awaiting the appointment of someone to replace Dennis Ray as the Region 3 representative from the Senate Finance Committee. So we hope to be, you should be hearing something very soon about the next round of applications for VSAFE. 2019 is going to be a year of celebration for State Fire. February the 1st of this year will be the 25th anniversary of us becoming the Division of Fire and Life Safety and part of the LLR family. And so we're going to have several things to celebrate our 25th anniversary. Although the Fire Academy has been around longer than that, the Fire Marshal's Office has been around longer than that, and of course, USAR, the task force, hasn't been around quite that long, but it's kind of our celebration of our 25th anniversary, really being put together as a family. And so we're going to celebrate our past, and we're doing that with a 25th anniversary celebration. Next year will be the 25th anniversary of the opening of our campus, and we're planning on having completed a lot of our renovations, doing a grand reopening ceremony at our campus in 2020. We're going to celebrate who we are, and we've already done that in part by launching a new division logo as well as 3 new program area logos and patches. So you'll start seeing those. You've probably already seen them on social media. Another thing that we're doing to celebrate who we are is we're investing in our folks. And so we're launching State Fire University, which is going to be several programs put together. One's going to be a year-long program very similar to the Leadership Institute, but we're also going to do smaller courses throughout the year for our employees to invest in them and their leadership capabilities. And so we're excited about that. And then we're also looking forward to our future. So we're celebrating our future in 2019 with a new strategic plan. We're hard at work on that. Hurricane Florence threw us off beat just a little bit in our timing of the release of the plan, but we hope to be finishing that up by the end of January, and so you'll start to see a lot of stuff being put forward about our new strategic plan, so we're excited about that. A couple of things legislative-wise, we've already mentioned the proviso. I'll talk more about that during the Hurricane Florence overview presentation this afternoon, so I'm not going to spend much time on that, but thank you for your support for that. And also, upon the recommendation of both the LAC and what we anticipate will be the recommendation of House Oversight, a bill has been introduced that will kind of restructure 23-9, which contains VSAFE, the fire marshal's roles and responsibilities and authorities. And it's really kind of a rewrite to clean up. You notice if you've read the thing that the fire marshal's responsibilities and authorities spread out over a whole chapter, whereas we want to kind of condense it to a couple of sections. So we're repealing a lot of stuff that's old, combining several things into one, and we think it's going to be a positive thing. And we appreciate Dr. Ridgway and Representative Bannister for introducing it. With that, that's my report. Thank you.
Finally, before we get to lunch, we'd like to have a good opportunity for our sponsors to take a quick word. First, Columbia Southern University.
All right, so I am standing between you and lunch. Okay, but I won't be long at all. First, I want to thank the association for allowing us to come out and speak with you very shortly. If you're not familiar with Columbia Southern, just give you a quick little recap. We are located in Orange Beach, Alabama, and we are 100% online university. Most of you are actually partners with us. Some of you may not be, but I just want to share the educational benefit of that partnership. You get a 10% discount off of your tuition. With it being 100% online, there's 2 different learning options. You have your semester base, which is 1 class every 8 weeks, or you have your life base, meaning you can start whenever you want. It's a minimum of 4 to 10 weeks to complete your assignments, and you can start your next course whenever you like. With that, also within that partnership, we evaluate all of your military, all of your college credits, your certifications, and your training that you have acquired during your fire service complimentary. So I always like to stress that importance. If you're thinking about going back to school, go ahead and get your transcripts evaluated and your training evaluated, so that way you know how many courses you would need to take to get your associate's, your bachelor's, or your master's degree. We have associates all the way to doctoral. And another thing that we have, all the benefits that I am explaining to you is also trickled down to your spouse and your children as well. So they take part in that 10% discount, the evaluation of all of their courses, no application fee, there's no SAT, ACT, or GRE requirement, and with it being 100% online too. So as I kind of conclude everything, if you have any questions or if you want to get your transcripts evaluated, just stop by the table and I'll give you some more information. If you would like for me to come out and actually speak to your department, stop back out and we'll look at some scheduled time to kind of come out and do a quick little recap with your department. And also, everyone that's in here, please feel free to stop by. I have a little something for everyone, a little CSU swag so you can kind of take back with you as well. Again, thank you for all that you do and thank the association for allowing me to talk to you. Thank you.
I think Columbia University, Columbia Southern said it well. I'm sitting between you and lunch. It'll be very quick. Do have a few slides. It's wonderful to be back with so many of you. I retired from the Columbia Fire Department 9 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long. It's great to see some old friends and to meet some new ones. Columbia College is a, let's see, we can go to another one. Okay. I'm preaching to the choir if I talk about the advantages of having a degree in a group like this. I think it's apparent that online degrees are making the higher education much more accessible to firefighters who are working shifts and have not traditionally been able to get into colleges, but the online programs make that so much better now. We'll keep moving. Columbia College, as you probably know, is a traditionally women's school located in the heart of our state, established in 1854. It's been here a long time. About 5 years ago, they started getting into online programs for all adults, and they have a very successful criminal justice program going, so successful that they've added a master's level to it. They also have an emergency management curriculum. And about a year ago, they started a bachelor's in fire science program, which I'm very excited about, and just trying to get the word out about. Just a few things about the program itself. Well, one important point about Columbia College is that it's regionally accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, and that is a better accreditation than national accreditation. It's something you want to pay attention to when you're signing up for a program. The program itself is 100% online. You can log on anytime. There are no live sessions, so if your folks are coming back in from a call, or you're coming back from a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't get back to sleep, you can log on and do your coursework. The courses are 5-week concentrated courses, so you know that when you start, you've got 5 weeks. It's going to be intense, but you'll get through that course and you'll have that one under your belt. That means that there's 6 start times a year. You don't have to wait for a semester to get started. 120-hour credit program. It does follow the federal FESI model from the U.S. Fire Administration. And we are recruiting great faculty to teach this in this curriculum. We have an advisory committee. Many of you are in this room. If you are on the advisory committee for Columbia College, please stand. Let's see you. Bunch of folks. And we've got a great partnership with the major organizations, the Firefighters Association, the Chiefs, the Fire Marshal's Office, and the Fire Academy are all on board and helping to guide us through this program. A little thing about credits. It's a 120-hour credit program. Up to 90 of those credits can come from previous college work that you've done and South Carolina Fire Academy training courses. Let's go to the next slide. Keep it rolling here. A little bit about costs. We do have a partnership now with the State Firefighters Association. If you're a member of the association, as everyone in this room here I'm sure is, you can get about $5,000 off the degree. It's structured it's about a 10%. And of course there are other available funding. One thing that's worth pointing out too is that if you're a South Carolina resident going to a South Carolina school, you can be eligible for the South Carolina tuition grants. We have a table out here on Columbia College. My cards are on the table. Been very fortunate. We've gotten around the state to several fire departments and associations so far, and I'm looking to visit more. I really want to come and talk to you and your folks at your fire department. Please give me a call. I'd love to come and see you. I appreciate very much the time, and let's go to lunch.
Look through the wheel that way.
Let's pray. Father, thank you for this morning. Thank you for all the time that we've had to be together. Thank you for the business time, for the time of instruction. And Father, now we thank you for this lunch. We ask your blessings on it. Strengthen us, nourish us, use us in your service. All in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.